بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم إنا أنزلناه في ليلة القدر وما أدراك ما ليلة القدر ليلة القدر خير من 1000 شهر تنزل الملائكة والروح فيها بإذن ربهم من كل أمر سلام هي حتى مطلع الفجر.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. We seek the protection of God from shaitan, who has been expelled from God's kingdom of special grace and mercy. If we avoid arrogance, whatever we know to be true, we submit. And if we avoid defiance, whatever we know to be evil, we don't commit. And if we have reliance on God, we should be given the strength to be able to identify, oppose, and overcome shaitan. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. We humbly turn to God and ask for His special guidance and blessings and grace, because He is the all-perfect one, and He is the all-merciful one, and His special grace, which is abundant, which is endless, is reserved exclusively for an elite group, the group who are believers and good doers. والصلاة والسلام على سيدنا ونبينا محمد وآله الطاهرين. And we send our salutations and greetings on the Holy Prophet and on his holy progeny, who are the best guides for mankind till the end of time. Elders, respected scholars, brothers and sisters, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. Tonight we are approaching the peak nights of Laylatul Qadr, which is most probably the eve of the 19th or the 21st or the 23rd. And therefore it's important for us to remind ourselves of the importance of this night and what our duties should be on this night. Next slide, please. The Quran emphasizes that in Surah Baqarah ayah 185, that the importance of the holy month of Ramadan is because of the Quran. Shahru Ramadan is the month of fasting. Not because it is the month of fasting, so the Quran was revealed into it. Rather, it is the month in which the Quran was revealed, so therefore fasting became wajib in Ramadan and at no other time. Meaning that throughout the year, the month which becomes the holiest month, the most blessed month, is the month in which this blessed event has taken place, which is the revelation of the Quran. So the importance of time is because of the Quran. Within the holy month, the one night which becomes the holiest night throughout the year, Laylatul Qadri khayrun min 1000 shahr, is again because of the Quran. So the essential core message of Laylatul Qadr revolves around the pivot of the Quran and whichever entity is synonymous or equivalent to the level of the Quran. Next slide, please. Next, please. So if we appreciate that the Qadr and the worth and the value of Laylatul Qadr is because of the Quran, Inna anzalnahu fi Laylatil Qadr. Therefore we need to understand the worth of the Quran, which gives so much value to the night and to the month. In the Quran, in Surah 59, that's Surah Al-Hashr, ayah number 21, an indication is given about the importance of the Quran. لو أنزلنا هذا القرآن على جبل لرأيته خاشعا متصدعا من خشية الله If ever this Quran were to be sent down on a mountain, then you would observe the mountain do two things. It would become humble. No, it would crumble. تلك الأمثال نضربها للناس لعلهم يتفكرون. This is an indirect rebuke by God to mankind, that the Quran is so powerful. Had it been sent down to a mountain, one, had mountains been conscious, two, had mountains the capacity to be able to respond, three, then two responses would have been visible from the mountains. One is humility in front of the greatness and the grandeur of the Quran. Two, the inability and the incapacity of the Quran to be, of the mountain to be able to carry or burden or receive the weight of the Quran, and therefore it crumbles. The rebuke is, how come? You receive the Quran, you touch the Quran, you read the Quran, you reflect on the Quran, but the heart is hardly changed. Does it mean, wait a minute, does it mean your heart is no longer soft, it has become hard? Does it mean that hardness of the Quran, of the heart is so much that it becomes like the mountain? No, no, no. The hardness of the heart becomes even greater than that of the mountain. Surah Baqarah, Allah warns us that some rocks, solid rocks, out of the fear of God fall. But there are some hearts which are so hardened, they don't respond. But that's how great the Quran is, if we were to appreciate its truth. The problem, therefore, is not with the Quran. The problem is with the recipient. In the parable being shown, there is a means for people to reflect and to wonder and to ponder. And this is one of the fundamental tasks that has to be performed on the Laylatul Qadr. The Quran gives worth to Laylatul Qadr. The recommendation of the Quran is, I have been sent for a purpose, and that purpose is to make man reflect. And therefore on Laylatul Qadr, one of the most important tasks is to reflect. Quranun kitabun anzalnahu li mubarakun liyadabbaru ayatih, so that they may ponder and reflect. So true, we will be spending the time in ibadah, but one very important ibadah we should not forget is that of reflection on this night. The riwayah says, تَفَكُّرُ سَاعَةٍ أَفْضَلُ مِنْ عِبَادَةِ سَنَةٍ. To spend 1 hour in reflection, a few moments in reflection, any time, but more so important on this important night, is better than the thawab of ibadah of one whole year. One riwayah. Another riwayah says, تَفَكُّرُ سَاعَةٍ أَفْضَلُ مِنْ عِبَادَةِ 60 سَنَةٍ. Another riwayah says, 70 سَنَةٍ. This few moments of reflection is equal to a 70-year-old life. A life which is moving without thinking, is just attracted by distractions. There is no solid basis on which the building of life is constructed, versus one who carefully reflects, understands the purpose of creation, knows how to achieve it, and firmly moves towards that purpose of creation. Even then, this person will not spend the whole night in ibadah, but will spend a few moments in ibadah, but those few moments are more worthy than a life, 70-year life of ibadah. So we have sent down this Quran with a powerful message, such that it would humble, in fact it would crumble the mountains. In Surah Rahman, again, to reveal the importance of the Quran, Allah says, Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim, Ar-Rahman, Allama al-Quran, Khalaqa al-Insan. Man has been created and man has been taught the Quran. No. That's not how the Quran says it. The Quran says it the other way around. God is the all-merciful one. God teaches the Quran. God creates man. Quran is more important than man. Quran comes before man. There is no possibility of man coming to earth without the guidance being sent by God first. If I want to achieve mercy on this night, I need to be able to allow the Quran, the source of mercy, to enter my heart. That's what will make me deserve to receive the mercy on this night. And therefore, when the sixth holy Imam says that Qalbu Shahri Ramadana Laylatul Qadr, the night of Qadr is the heart of the whole month of Ramadan. The whole month of Ramadan is blessed. The month of Ramadan is the heart of all the other months of the year. But the heart of the year is the Laylatul Qadr. Everything that we do in this holy month, the nights and the days, the silence, the sleep, the speech, the supplication, the recitation, everything is blessed in this month. But all of this compared to Laylatul Qadr is still dead. It's Laylatul Qadr which multiplies, which amplifies the spiritual effect of all these activities. Kwanini, kwa sababu of the Quran. It's amazing what this book, the power of this book is. And therefore, Laylatul Qadr, all those activities must revolve around the pivot of the Quran. Everything. And I will try to show you how that becomes possible. Essentially, because the Quran originates from the highest source of God's wisdom and knowledge and grace and mercy. Tanzilul Azizir Rahim. Who can comprehend the izzah of the Aziz? Who can fathom the rahmah of the Rahim? Therefore, who can fathom the total, deep, core content of the message of the Quran? وَمَا أَدْرَاكَ مَا لَيْلَةُ الْقَدْرِ. Forget about understanding the core message of the Quran to its total depth. We can't even understand the night on which this Quran was sent. Because it is not an ordinary night for this extraordinary message to be sent down. Lakini, suffice enough for us to know that Laylatul Qadri khayrun min alfi shahr. That one moment, that one night is better than a whole lifetime. This is an example. The actual fact is much beyond that. You know, we are told that there will be people who, once they go into barzakh and they die and they see the punishment, they will say, رَبِّ ارْجِعُونِي لَعَلِّي أَعْمَلَ صَالِحًا فِي مَا تَرَكْتُ. Surah Mu'minun, chapter 23, ayah number 99 and 100. When they go to barzakh, they see the consequences of their deeds. They will be terrified. They will regret. They will want to go back. They will plead for the opportunity. Allah will say, no, كَلَّا إِنَّهَا كَلِمَةٌ هُوَ قَائِلُهَا. These are false claims because he is now trapped. He is therefore regretting. Therefore, he wants to go back. He just speaks so. Had we given him a chance to go back, he will return back to his sinful ways. Because now there is no prison, there is no punishment. Because there is no internal righteousness. The corollary of this argument is, send the opposite people, the righteous people, to barzakh. They will pray to come back to the dunya, but the dunya will never distract them. Because they're righteous to the core. Every time you test them in the dunya, they will do nothing but good. No. The companions of Imam Hussein in Karbala, they said, oh, I wish I was sent back and I would sacrifice once and twice and 10 times and 70 times, an uncountable number of times. Therefore, these people, give them permanent life here, they will be permanently good. Do you know why people will never come out of Jannah? Give them all the time in the dunya, they will be doing nothing but to act for Jannah. There is a part of the human being which is not physical, which is not material. It's a part which is timeless. In that timeless dimension of the human being, whatever is done in a timely world, if it goes to the timeless part of the human being, it makes the human timelessly good. Well, how do we explain to you timelessly good? One night is better than 1,000 months. It's the human being who has been created by God with this inherent inbuilt capacity to become timeless. We want a chance to see Jannah, the multitude of the totality of the spiritual world opening up with all the angels, with all the grades and the levels of the angels to the highest level. The Ruh, Laylatul Qadr is that opportunity. So then, the chance for a single night, for a lifetime transformation, Laylatul Qadr. Don't think it's impossible. It's happened in the dunya so many times. The riwayah, there are incidents mentioned in the Quran, and there are incidents mentioned in the riwayah. In the Quran, there's a story of the magicians. In Surah Taha, chapter 20, ayah number 70 onwards, there's a description of the confrontation between the magicians and Musa alayhi salam. So the magicians challenge Musa that we're so confident that we can win this confrontation. It's your wish, Musa. You start your magic or we will start our magic. We are confident. Even if you start first, you'll lose, because when we come after you, we'll win. Musa alayhi salam is not scared. Musa is even smarter than them. Musa tells them, no, you start. No problem, you start. Ayah number 70 is the description. Ayah number 65 onwards is the description of this confrontation. قالوا يا موسى إما أن تلقي وإما أن نكون أول من ألقى. Musa alayhi salam says, no, بل ألقوا. No, you throw first. So they threw, and their ropes and their staff and rods changed. No, they did not change. They made an appearance. They were fooling the eyes of the beholders and the onlookers. They were made to appear. That's how magic is. It's not real, it's fake. It's a play with the mind. It's a play with the eyes. That's what they did. Musa alayhi salam experienced a little fear this time. فَأَوْجَسَ فِي نَفْسِهِ خِيفَةً مُوسَى. Because not that he was afraid of what was happening. He was afraid of the effect of this foolery on the general public, that the general public may not be able to distinguish the actual miracle versus this false magic play with the mind. So we gave confidence to Musa. قُلْنَا لَا تَخَفْ إِنَّكَ أَنْتَ الْأَعْلَى. Don't worry. So Musa throws the staff. وَأَلْقِ مَا فِي يَمِينِكَ تَلْقَفْ مَا صَنَعُوا إِنَّمَا صَنَعُوا كَيْدَ السَّاحِرِ وَلَا يُفْلِحُ السَّاحِرُ حَيْثُ أَتَى. The staff of Musa. Musa, simple man, wearing a simple shepherd's dress. Nothing in his hands, just a staff. Musa, everything is under our control. Everything is because we will it to be so. Water is water when we want it to flow, otherwise it stops flowing and there is a road for you to pass. Fire is fire when we want it so, otherwise it becomes a garden for Ibrahim. A staff is staff because we want it so, otherwise it becomes a snake. Musa, anything in your hands. What would you have? You have the staff, take the staff, throw the staff. And the staff converts to a snake and a serpent. The moment this happens, أُلْقِيَ السَّحَرَةُ. No, not أُلْقِيَ. Fa. Immediately. Fa. أُلْقِيَ السَّحَرَةُ سُجَّدًا. The magicians were overwhelmed with this display of absolute truth. They knew they were fooling. But what they were seeing was not pretension, was not a play. They were overwhelmed and they spontaneously went into sajda. قَالُوا آمَنَّا بِرَبِّ هَارُونَ وَمُوسَى. A few moments ago, these magicians were the agents of the wicked empire to support the wicked empire, to advance the cause of the evil empire, to block the truth and to defeat the truth. In a moment, they changed, they transformed themselves from the biggest sinners to the closest people to Musa. Fir'aun says, how dare you change without my permission? آمنتم له قبل أن آذن لكم. Without my permission, you have declared faith in him. They say, آمنا برب هارون وموسى. You're not the true Rabb We believe in Musa. No, before him was Harun. Both of them, we believe in the Lord of Musa. And in case if you think Musa is fooling, Harun is not fooling. If you think you have an obligation on Musa, you have no obligation on Harun. We believe in the Lord of Harun and Musa. So he now threatens, لَأُقَطِّعَنَّ أَيْدِيَكُمْ وَأَرْجُلَكُمْ مِنْ خِلَافٍ. I will chop off your right hand and left leg, or your left hand and your right leg. The worst possible imaginable torture and persecution and death. I will make you suffer. Oh, the magicians get scared. They say, Pharaoh, we have made a mistake. You know, we were overcome with emotions. We thought really it was true. Sorry. We believe in you. Musa is not right. Is that what they say? No. قالوا لن نؤثرك على ما جاءنا من البينات. We will never ever prefer your false magic and your false beliefs over the truth that we have seen. Even if you kill us, because what you kill us, you will take away our body, but our soul, you can never win over it. What is the time between magician the kafir to magician the mu'min? What is the time between magician the mu'min to his death? What good did this magician do to go to Jannah? Nothing, except for seeing the truth, accepting it, being bold enough to want to change and to look for chance of change. If you didn't get the chance of change, but the will is there, the iman is there, that's for which the Jannah is there. Single moment transformation of a lifetime. Laylatul Qadr, that's what we are looking for. A man came to the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa alihi. روي أن رجلا جاء إلى النبي ليعلمه القرآن. The way to change is through the Quran. Please teach me the Quran. Well, the Quran was revealed in 23 years lifetime, 114 verses. How much can you teach this man who has just come from the desert? You basically give him the core message. So he was taught a few verses. فانتهى إلى قوله تعالى ومن يعمل مثقال ذرة خيرا يرى ومن يعمل مثقال ذرة شرا يرى. The riwayah says the moment this man heard this verse, whatever good you do, Allah will reward, whether it's big or small, whether it's smaller or the smallest possible imaginable, Allah will reward. Whatever evil you do, whether it's big or small, small or smallest that you can imagine, Allah will punish. إن صرف الرجل وهو فقيه. The man said, this is enough, I've changed my lifetime. One ayah of the Quran. Laylatul Qadr is the time to change our life. The pivot is the Quran. Every ayah of the Quran has the potential to change. Lakini, the condition is the heart should not be as hard as the mountain. What do I do to soften the heart? Well, you start your a'mal with salah and istighfar, the a'mal of Laylatul Qadr. Notice that Laylatul Qadr, we are told in the riwayah that if you start your a'mal in the month of Rajab, the salat and the sawm and the sadaqah and the dua, Allah will forgive you. Allah will forgive all sins. Come to Sha'ban, you continue this practice of supplication, of sadaqah, of salah, of sajda, of sadaqah, all the a'mal salihah. Allah will forgive all sins. Come the holy month of Ramadan, every day at the end of the period of fasting, during the time of iftar, Allah liberates and rescues from the fire of hell hundreds of thousands of people. They have basically immunized themselves from the fire of hell. Every night this keeps on repeating itself. It builds up till you come to Laylatul Qadr. The riwayah says that غَفَرَ اللَّهُ on Laylatul Qadr كَمِثْلِ مَا غَفَرَ فِي رَجَبَ وَشَعْبَانَ وَشَهْرِ رَمَضَانَ إِلَى ذَلِكَ الْيَوْمِ. Allah will forgive on Laylatul Qadr the equivalent of all those people who were forgiven in Rajab and in Sha'ban and in all those days leading up to the Laylatul Qadr. Lakini, there's a condition. Not everyone is going to be forgiven. Illa, the riwayah continues to say, Illa rajulun baynahu wa bayna akhihi shahna. Except for the one who between him and some other human being, his brother, there is some enmity. Jannah is for pure people. Purity and enmity don't go together. I must have enough of selflessness that even though I am hurt, but if I want to go close to the all-perfect one, who is the all-merciful one, who is the all-forgiving one, who is postponing his punishment, who holds back his punishment, where are these divine qualities in you? These perfect qualities of forgiveness, of pardoning, of delaying your retribution and punishment. Develop these godly qualities in yourself. Purify yourself. Go out, reach out. Tell him, I'm ready to forgive you. If I've made mistakes, forgive me. Give sadaqah in his name. Do amal khair in his name. Reach out and say, I pardon you. Once that strength of the pure godly soul is activated against the animal selfishness of enmity and hostility, before that Jannah cannot become possible. Laylatul Qadr is that night to do so. If I expect mercy from above, irham man fil ard yarhamuka man fis sama. Forgive the one who is on the earth, then the one who is above will forgive you. Imam Hassan alayhi salam, whenever somebody came and asked for help, he would give, if nothing else, a little, till he was questioned, but why don't you turn away anyone? He says, I'm afraid. He's muhtaj, he came to me. I'm also muhtaj to someone. I'm afraid if I go to him, I should not be turned away. Maybe I've made a mistake. Alright, he has made a mistake. Unless, of course, sadaqah will be refused or prohibited in those cases where we know it is supporting a sinful behavior. So long as we're not sure about that, we give the benefit of doubt and we help the muhtaj. So the important question on this night is, next slide, what is it that we do to deserve this extra grace and mercy from God which can change our lifetime? Well, these are the recommended actions and rituals to be performed on this night. One is to feel the sorrow of our sins, istighfar. Number two is the salah, because we are supposed to do anything and everything which is good. There is no good act better than salah. As-salatu khayru mawdu'. As-salatu mi'rajul mu'min. As-salatu qurbanu kulli taqi. The means of every pious person to get close to God, salah, with its ruku', with its sajda. Dua, the expression of humility and slavehood and servanthood and the desperate plea from the core of the heart to the Lord. Number four, amal and salih, any act of goodness which will win therefore the favor of God. Number five, the ritual of the scripture where we open the Quran, we read the dua, and then we keep it on our heads, and then we make a commitment that we shall lead our lives according to the Quran, and then we make tawassul. And finally the salutation and the greeting and the ziyarah of Imam Hussein alayhi salam. So notice, all of these actions pivot around one central act, and that is keeping the Quran on the head. Oh Lord, from now onwards I make a commitment that my life shall be governed by the messages from the Quran. Which Quran? The Quran which, if it were to be revealed to the mountains, it would crumble. Which Quran? The Quran which one ayah changed that Arab forever, that Muslim forever. It is that Quran. So therefore, allow me to suggest that we should definitely make efforts on this night during the a'mal of the Quran, first to read the Quran, at least some portion of it. Of course, on the 23rd we shall be reading the three big surahs, chapter 44 Dukhan, chapter 29 Ankabut, and chapter 30 Surah Rum, because they are recommended. But for the 19th and the 21st also we can recite any part of the Quran. Any part of the Quran is nur. Any part of the Quran has the power to remove the dhulumat from our hearts, to transform our lives. So, let's continue with what I started with Surah Ankabut. Notice how every ayah has the potential of changing a person. Changing a person on a night which is a destiny-shaping night. Next slide, please. Chapter 29. I finished this one. Next. Chapter 29 discusses several themes. First paragraph, we said, discusses the testing that shall be done of all the believers. Whoever claims to be a believer should definitely be tested. And the three big fitnas by which everyone will be tested. One is the challenge from our superiors to disobey God. The second challenge is the persecution and the feeling of suffering and pain. Next slide, please. The feeling of suffering and pain, and whether this pain is comparable to the pain of Akhirah or not. And number three, the challenge by the evil leaders, whereby they will try to fool us and deceive us that let us sin, don't worry, we will protect you, we will carry your burden of sins. This is the first paragraph, and we've already discussed that before. The next paragraph, next slide please. That is ayah number 14 to ayah number 23. Now Allah shifts the focus of discussion to the past history, the example of Prophet Nuh, and then Prophet Ibrahim, and then Prophet Lut, and then Prophet Shu'aib, and then Prophet Musa is discussed. And then a conclusion is made. So observe. Ayah number 14. وَلَقَدْ أَرْسَلْنَا نُوحًا إِلَىٰ قَوْمِهِ. And we sent before you the Prophet Nuh to his people. فَلَبِثَ فِيهِمْ أَلْفَ سَنَةٍ. And he stayed with them for a period of 1,000 years. إِلَّا خَمْسِينَ عَامًا. Except for 50 years. فَأَخَذَهُمُ الطُّوفَانُ وَهُمْ ظَالِمُونَ. The whole story which is discussed in detail, for example in Surah A'raf and in Surah Hud, is now summarized in two verses in this surah. Two verses which, if we read carefully and pause and reflect and see how it applies to our life, can change our lives. Observe. We sent two people before you the Prophet Nuh. Prophet Nuh is the first messenger. Do I feel, do I acknowledge, do I accept the reality that God is so kind and so merciful that no man on the earth was left behind without a messenger coming to him? Do I feel the importance that a messenger can live for almost 1,000 years minus 50 and engage in nothing and sacrifice everything he has for his people? Do I appreciate that within this 80-year period, within this 950-year period, only 12 people are reported to have converted. 12 means roughly every 80 years one person is converted. One lifetime, one person is converted. Do we appreciate the depth and the intensity of the sacrifice of these selfless messengers God has sent for us and know the love of God for us? Number 4, if we are doing something good somewhere and we see no effect of that good coming out, we should take inspiration from the example of Prophet Nuh. Number 5, the most important, it is the law of God. You break the law will break you. Nuh's people were drowned. Don't ever think anyone who does evil is not punished now will not ever be punished. The tufan will come in its own particular way and destroy those people. The next ayah then says, فَأَنْجَيْنَاهُ وَأَصْحَابَ السَّفِينَةِ وَجَعَلْنَاهَا آيَةً لِلْعَالَمِينَ. And then we saved Nuh and those who boarded the ark. Am I the one who has boarded the ark of the current times? 1. 2. We saved them, but we destroyed others. Do we appreciate that natural disasters could be a punishment from God? 3. do we appreciate that God in His mercy and grace, once He shows these wonderful signs, sometimes signs of His power and wrath and majesty, that these signs are left behind for people to consider and to study for all times. Allah talks to us all the time. Am I ready to listen? One lesson is enough for me to change. 2 verses enough for me to change. Next, ayah number 16. وإبراهيم إذ قال لقومه اعبدوا الله واتقوه ذلكم خير لكم إن كنتم تعلمون. Allah has been sending messengers after messengers. Nuh was the first Ulul Azm messenger. The second Ulul Azm messenger was Ibrahim alayhi salam. What was the core basic message that Ibrahim alayhi salam sent to his people and delivered to his people? Simple. اعبدوا الله واتقوه. In my life, have I received these 2 messages? Have I developed the righteous attitude whereby I only worship God and God alone, meaning that I believe that there is no power other than God who is worthy of obeying, of praising, of loving, of hoping in, of fearing from, of asking from, of fearing other than Allah? Have I developed this level of belief in God and therefore the ibadah? Or no, I tend to respect, I tend to ask, I tend to fear, I tend to hope in things other than God also, which means that even the core message hasn't entered my life. وَاتَّقُوهُ. And practically in your life, you should be fearful. Kwanini. ذَلِكُمْ خَيْرٌ لَكُمْ. This is the best for you. إِن كُنْتُمْ تَعْلَمُونَ. Man, if you turn to other than God, you are ignorant, though you may be educated. Man, if you fail to realize one fundamental characteristic of an imam or a messenger, and that is what he teaches us is not because it's beneficial to him, it's beneficial to me. And therefore the loser is me if I don't listen. 2 simple messages, but they can change a lifetime. Laylatul Qadr is the time we need to reflect on these realities. Ayah number 17. Ibrahim alayhi salam doesn't only use the power of his charisma, that I'm a truthful person, I'm an honest person, I'm a pious person, I never speak lies, I have all the benefits of a good mu'min, so if you don't believe anything but you trust me, follow me. If you want proof, then I will provide proof for you. And this ayah then provides the logical proof why you should abandon lifestyles which are ungodly. إِنَّمَا تَعْبُدُونَ مِن دُونِ اللَّهِ أَوْثَانًا. You worship other than God's entities which are idols. Idols are lifeless. Idols are powerless. Idols are senseless. Idols cannot even hear you. Idols, even if they were to hear you, can't give you or protect you. Don't turn. Well, in the past, idols were of stone. Today, idols could be of different types. Don't turn to anyone other than God, who is totally powerless and senseless. He doesn't even know your needs. And even if you knew your needs, can't even provide for your needs all the time, or of all the varieties. Are we worshipping idols today? Not the stone ones, but other idols. 1, 2. وَتَخْلُقُونَ إِفْكًا. You are fabricating and you are creating that which doesn't exist. You are labeling these to be gods. They're not true gods. Be careful whom you label as a leader, as an object worthy of worship. Truly, does it qualify or not? Number 3, لا يملكون لكم رزقا. They can't even give you any rizq. Man, whether you like it or not, you need rizq. You will naturally seek someone to provide you with rizq. With this natural yearning for a rizq provider, go to the true, absolute, ultimate, unconditional rizq provider. فَابْتَغُوا. Number 4, عِنْدَ اللَّهِ الرِّزْقَ وَاعْبُدُوهُ وَاشْكُرُوا لَهُ إِلَيْهِ تُرْجَعُونَ. You should pray to God and God alone, because God and God alone is the all-powerful one, is the all-providing one, is the all-punishing one. And these are the three basic fundamental reasons why we should do ibadah of God and God alone. Qanini iyyaka na'bud, because He alone is Rahman and Rahim, because He alone is Rabb, because He alone is Maliki Yawmiddin. These three core messages were there with all the past messengers, and they are there with the last messenger also. Ayah number 19. Ayah number 18 says, وَإِن تُكَذِّبُوا فَقَدْ كَذَّبَ أُمَمٌ مِّن قَبْلِكُمْ وَمَا عَلَى الرَّسُولِ إِلَّا الْبَلَاغُ الْمُبِينُ. O Prophet, Ibrahim alayhi salam tells the people, if you reject me, I will not be intimidated. Even none of you, if you accept the Prophet's message, it's as if Ibrahim is telling them, that will not intimidate me. I will not consider myself a failure. My success is to be able to receive the truth, to accept it, to live by it, and to deliver it. It's your wish. You want to accept it or not. I'm not a failure if you don't accept. You are a failure if you refuse to accept. With this logic, no mu'min will ever despair in life. Life-changing messages. You don't intimidate me. Even before you, there were people who came and rejected the righteous messages. وَمَا عَلَى الرَّسُولِ إِلَّا الْبَلَاغُ الْمُبِينُ. The next ayah, 19, 20, 21, and 22 is a pause. It's as if a paragraph, a separate parenthesis, a bracket is open, another issue is discussed, that issue is closed, and then the discussion continues about Prophet Ibrahim. These 4 verses in between are talking about the creation of the heavens and the earth. So ayah number 19. Allah says, why don't they look around? And there is plenty of evidence to show what is the truth. أَوَلَمْ يَرَوْا كيف يبدئ الله الخلق ثم يعيده إن ذلك على الله يسير. Why don't they look at the creation, how God has originated the creation, and therefore if He has the power to originate, therefore definitely He has the power to rejuvenate and to revive a second time. That definitely is possible. Not only is it possible, it's going to be easy. He's already done it before, so why do you doubt that it can happen again? One of the most powerful deterrents which can prevent us from continuing on an evil lifestyle is our belief that life in the dunya is not the whole life. There is life after death. Life after death revolves around the fundamental belief that the very same God who could do it the first time can do it a second time and multiple times. It's easy for Him. In fact, وَهُوَ أَهْوَنُ عَلَيْهِ. Here in Surah Ankabut He says it's easy. In Surah Rum He says it's even easier. He did it the first time, why do you doubt? Oh no, easy, uneasy, easier. These are human terms. This is when you're talking about somebody who's got limited capacity, and now he has shown you that he has strength to do it the first time, therefore he can do it a second time. In fact, the second time is easier. These are qualities of limited human beings. وَلَهُ الْمَثَلُ الْأَعْلَى. The highest, the best, the most perfect qualities belong to God. His power is unlimited. There's no question of easy and easier. Everything is the easiest. The first and the last. And the second, and the multiple times. Who says creation will stop after Akhirah? We become creators in Akhirah. One message of the Quran can change a lifetime. And we can go on and on for every ayah. The important message I would like to remind ourselves on Laylatul Qadr, therefore, is the Qadr of Qadr is because of the Quran. The Quran can change a lifetime. Not the whole of the Quran. Even a single verse can change a lifetime. Everything we do on this night depends on the Quran. And the value of Laylatul Qadr, therefore, is not only with the Quran, but also with the entity who is equal to the Quran, on whom the Quran descends. تَنَزَّلُ الْمَلَائِكَ وَالرُّوحِ فِيهَا. And therefore, the two most important entities we should remember are the 12th Holy Imam, the living Imam, because on him now descend all the destiny shaping decrees, because through him the universe is being governed. Lakini, there is one person whom even the 12th Imam remembers on this night, and hence the ziyarah of Imam Hussein alayhi salam. Laylatul Qadr, we are told that 24,000 malak, 24,000 angels, malak wa nabi, and prophets, kulluhum yasta'dhin min Allah li ziyarati qabr al-Hussein. They all seek permission from God to be granted the allowance to go and visit the grave of Imam Hussein alayhi salam. This man in history has achieved one timeless message which can change mankind forever. Even the 12th Imam is waiting for the change Imam Hussein introduced, which was done by 72 companions, that only 313 should become like those 72, and the world will change. On this night, when everything can change, Ziyarat of Imam Hussein is that ultimate change we should look for. Let's pray to Allah for the tawfiq. And one very important message is, when you make dua, try to make dua not only for yourself, but also for others. In fact, if you can become so unselfish and so selfless that you pray for somebody else before you pray for yourself, then Allah is so kind and so merciful as to say, "O angels, give him," the praying person, the request he has made for somebody else, give him that request before you give him to the person for whom he has requested. No. Give him double of what he's asked for his brother. No. Give him 100 times more than what he has asked for his brother. Kwa nini? Oh, the ocean of the mercy of God is unlimited. We've asked for a drop. You take a needle, you dip it into the ocean. You take out that needle, there's one small tiny drop that is stuck to the tip of the needle. Whatever you ask for yourself and for others and for your parents and for your family and for your friends and for all the believers in the community and for all the believers in the nation and for all the believers in the world, you still ask just the drop on the tip of the needle. Ask is forgiving. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.